What's up, everybody? Brando here again with another pickups video, and this time I'm going to do it just a little bit differently. I'm just going to have a table laid out with the games on it because I've got a lot of stuff to go through, and I really don't want to sit down and set everything up, and it's Christmas time, as you can tell with the table packing here, so you know what? I just decided just to do it this way. That way you guys can get a good look at what I'm talking about, and I'll just, just shoot from the hip here, and that way I don't have to sit there uncomfortably in front of the camera for hopefully not too long, but if I was going to sit there and babble, it probably would have been a lot longer. But these pickups go all the way back and to September. It's been that long since I've done a pickups video. And the first lot here is the Game Boy Color Zelda Oracle of Ages. Now I have the manual for both, but unfortunately the person I bought it from didn't have the Oracle of Seasons, so I'm still hunting for that. I found it once, but it was in such bad shape you couldn't even tell what the actual game was if you didn't know already. It was like you had to look at it and study it and go, okay, it's red, I can see Zelda, okay, I know what this is. And I'm trying not to be as picky anymore with sort of the quality of what I'm getting, but I at least want it to be legible, and I want it to be recognizable into what it is. But big thanks to Gretchen for that. My good buddy Silent Rob's wife hooked me up with that. Going down here for the N64, I got a couple more of those. I got Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and Zelda Ocarina of Time. I almost said Oracle of Time, but that's up there. Yeah, picking these up, I ended up getting Kazooie and Tooie just right around the same time, to be honest with you. So I don't know if I picked them up on the same day. Honestly, I don't think I did. I think I got Tooie first, and then I went back and they actually had Kazooie. But for Ocarina, it was a game that I have it on the 3DS. I never had it on the 64, and I've had Majora's for quite some time. So to find that, and it was a decent price, it was a pretty good deal to find that and get that into my collection. Next year for my birthday, I got a couple games. I got Lego Marvel Superheroes on the Wii U and Assassin's Creed Rogue. Unfortunately, I haven't played either one of them too much. I did play Marvel Superheroes on the PS4 at my buddy Rob's house, so that's how I knew I wanted it. And for Assassin's Creed Rogue, well, I haven't played an entry of the series in quite some time. I think I last played, I played 4 was the last one that I played, and I haven't gotten into Unity or Syndicate or anything like that. But for Rogue came out as the same time as Unity, but on the prior consoles. And it's actually tied to the Assassin's Creed 3 and 4, and that sort of bridges the two storyline-wise. Coming down here, we have Illusion of Gaia. Was awesome to get that in my collection. I let that pass a while ago. I let Rob have it, but I finally have it in my collection. It's a good price. And Pokemon Red. Honestly, I have never owned Pokemon Red. I have Pokemon Yellow. If I move around the table here, I have Pokemon Yellow, but I had never owned Pokemon Red. So to get that was pretty cool because Red is the first one that I played. I borrowed it from my buddy and played it off from him on the Game Boy. I think I played it on the original brick Game Boy. I didn't have a Game Boy Color yet. I got the Game Boy Color when I got Pokemon Yellow, and I just played that version over and over again. But over here, Pokemon Silver. Honestly, I tried Gold and Silver when they came out, and I was not a huge fan. I didn't really get into Gold and Silver until they made the remake. I didn't progress into Pokemon after, was it Red, Blue, and Yellow? And so I have Heart Gold, so I went ahead and just picked up the silver cart here. I got it for, honestly, not a bad price there for that. And especially when there's another store that was selling it for double the price. I got it for $10, so good deal on that. For the GameCube, you can't really tell there, but that is on the GameCube. Mega Man Anniversary Collection, picked it up for that. And then I have for the PS2, Ys, the Ark of Napishtim. That's a tongue twister there to say that, but that is, I think, the 6th Ys game. Honestly, I have it written down somewhere, that way I know which Ys that I'm buying, because they're really weird to buy for it over here because they renamed them, or this was a remake, a redo of 6 that they re-put onto the PS2. Honestly, dude, getting into this series is so convoluted. It's really cool to play, but it's just so hard to figure out what the heck you're actually getting into. But I did find that, and honestly, that is the second Ys game I've ever seen in my life. And the first one is the one that I bought on the Vita, which I think is a remake of Ys 4. Next year, I got these games up in Nate's neck of the woods, up there, up north, and I got Code Veronica, Resident Evil on Dreamcast, Silent Hill, that was a big one to get off my list there. And Chrono Cross. Now, I will say I'm not a huge fan of Chrono Cross. I like Chrono Trigger a whole lot more here. But, you know, I had to get it for my PlayStation collection. I'm a huge PlayStation collector. I have quite a few games into that collection. And this is a must-have. The PlayStation is an RPG machine. So I'm hoping to be able to kind of play it and hopefully like it a little bit more. I did play it a little bit back in the day. I rented it, didn't really get into it, and then I bought it on digital. And I think I played it on like my PSP or something when it came out for the PSN. But hopefully I can get into it. Coming up here is some PSP selections. I got Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops Plus, Killzone Liberation. Coming down, Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2. Now, interestingly enough, I found Metal Gear Acid 2 first, and that's kind of the more difficult one to find. I found it up there with those other games I showed you that I got up in Nate's neck of the woods, and I bought it up there for a little bit more than I wanted to spend, but I never see it. And I'll be damned if like 2 weeks later I did not find the first Metal Gear Acid for like a fraction of that price. It's crazy the price difference between 1 and 2 here, but it just, people didn't know what they were buying when they bought their PSPs. They got the first Metal Gear Acid, and it sold a lot, right? They didn't really know what they were getting. It was more of a puzzler, more of a kind of a tactics game, and then so them selling all those copies kind of warranted making a sequel, but the sequel didn't sell quite as many. Coming down, Final Fantasy 1 and 2. Awesome to get these finally. And then I got the original Dissidia, which I owned digitally on the PSP Go. Yes, I said that, PSP Go. I am ashamed, trust me. Still living that one down. But I have a Duodecim. I finally picked up the original for a couple bucks. And the same thing for those Final Fantasies. Interesting enough, for these two Final Fantasies here, they actually kind of screwed me over because I brought Final Fantasy 2 and 1. I brought the cases up there, and he said, I can't find Final Fantasy 1. I'm like, no, he couldn't find Final Fantasy 2. So I went back to find another game, which ended up being Killzone. But then I found another Final Fantasy 2 case, and I'm like, well, if they don't have any, I don't want anybody else to get gypped like I was just going to get gypped. So I brought it up. I said, here, I found this out there. Don't know, maybe if you can find that one. He found that one, sent me home, and I'm testing them out, right? So he found Final Fantasy 2. Final Fantasy 2 was in both of these cases. That guy forgot to put the original Final Fantasy in the first case, and then put both Final Fantasy 2s. And I'm guessing because the art is similar, even though like the colors are off, or the guy just kind of got confused. And I'll catch him a break. I went back and they made it right, so that worked out pretty good. Coming down here, Donkey Kong Country. Who didn't love this freaking game when they were a kid, man? I never did really play like the sequels, 2 or 3, but that original one, I played the heck out of. Also, another game I played the heck out of, Turtles in Frickin' Time. I got this game, and I sat there and was testing it out, and almost like, I think I got more than halfway through just in one setting because I love this game. It didn't take that really long to beat. I used to play the crap out of it. I never owned it though. I always had to borrow it from like my buddies or something to play it, but I got it now, and you know what? I'm really starting to like get pretty happy with where I am in my collection for some of this stuff, and it's gonna get to the point where I'm just looking for more hard to find stuff, and stuff like this is not gonna come as often. That's why I'm sort of like putting like a stop at making these videos as often. Coming up here for the NES, The Simpsons. Was it Bart versus the Space Mutants? I remember Preston playing that, and having a blast. The Adventures of Bayou Billy. Now, the only reason I have this is because I have the manual, and I've seen the Angry Video Game Nerd video on it, and it was a few bucks, so I said, why not? And then over here, I have the original Ninja Turtles. I have the second one, so now I just need to get the Manhattan Project. I think that's what it's called. Over here, Diddy Kong Racing. Again, man, I'm getting pretty close to being kind of done with my N64 collecting. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I have the games I really want the most. I'm not going for anything complete here, so there's only a few that I can really think of off the top of my head. Maybe like the first Turok, maybe Pilot Wings, even though that's not really all that great. Maybe Conkers if I can come across it again. But yeah, I'm getting pretty happy with where I'm at for the N64. Coming down here for the Wii U, the Wonderful 101 and Super Mario Maker. Wonderful 101, man. You know what? I downloaded the demo, wasn't really too sure about it. When I tested it out after I bought it, I'm liking it, man. It's kind of different and really neat, but Super Mario Maker, that's where it's at. This game is freaking awesome. I'm having so much fun with it. It's probably my game of the year. to be honest with you. Even though I played a lot of really cool games, the retro guy in me, I might have to give it to Mario Maker. I don't know. I haven't played Tomb Raider, the Rise of the Tomb Raider. I haven't played that one yet, but you know what? Mario Maker might just be enough to edge that out, man. This is a really cool thing for them to put out, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough to save the Wii U. You know, it's not really going to do much, but more Wii U stuff here. I have Shovel Knight and The Legend of Kay. Now, Shovel Knight was a indie game that got a physical release, and I didn't play it until I got the physical release. Just saying, I like physical content, and if they never came out with a physical release, I was going to get it eventually, maybe on like a flash sale or something, but Legend of Kay was something I never heard of until I saw it on YouTube, and I think it's a remake of a PS2 game. I think it was like maybe a Kickstarter of some sorts, because it's a Wii U entry, but it has like a normal Wii white case. So I found that at my at the like local Walmart for $20. I don't know if they're supposed to get it. I don't know if what retailers actually got it, but I saw it after seeing it on YouTube and just jumped on it and picked it up. Now the last three here, I got the Lego Batman trilogy, and basically the reason why I picked these up is because I'm trying to collect some of the Lego games, and I decided to get them for the Wii and Wii U, just to kind of buff out that collection a little bit and get some more games for that. I did play the first and second one. We bought them from my nephew on like the DS, and I was testing them out, and I was having so much fun with them. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get these at some point, so I figured now is a good time. They were a pretty decent price. The prices are actually kind of going low on them, so I'm actually gonna cut this, reset the table, because I got like another full table of games to show you, so I will be right back. Okay, we are back with a whole new table setup. I have that many games I had to actually empty the table and refill it. So the first one here, Kirby's Return to Dreamland on the Wii, and then the next two, Metroid Trilogy, Metroid Prime Trilogy, Super Mario Galaxy 2. Now, these three Wii games were at GameStop buy two get one free. I stopped and I looked to see if there's anything of note in there, and there were a few. So I looked at it, decided to, pay the price. Some of these are kind of going for, some expensive bucks. Kind of hard to find this stuff, like, for a decent price on the used market, especially like on Craigslist or anything like that. I don't really check Craigslist that often. I don't really like dealing with Craigslist. But I get home, and I'm excited, man. And that's the only game that's in the actual case, the disc. These two are empty. So I had to go back, get the discs. But they were really cool about it. I called them right when I got home and said, look, you guys forgot to give me some discs. They checked into it. They said, yeah, you're right. We'll have it sitting here, and you guys can just pick it up when you come back. And I went in the next day after work and just got my games. So that was kind of cool. Paid off there. 3 PSP games more added here, and these are from like my big Christmas shopping spree that I did. So Monster Hunter 2 Freedom, Tokobot, and then without a case, Persona 2. I went ahead and picked that up because it was a decent price. I had a case, but I can't find a label to print for it, and even though I would like to pay for a full case, I probably would just print it out. It doesn't really matter to me that much as long as it looks decent on like a shelf or something. But Tokobot. I want to talk about Tokobot, and the thing about Tokobot is I actually have Tokobot on the PS2, Tokobot Plus. I found it at Goodwill, sealed, if you can believe that. It was still sealed, and I found that on the PSP for like $1 and went, you know what, I'm going to buy this, that way I can actually try the game and play it, because I just left Tokobot Plus sealed. I didn't even know what it was, but I'm like, a sealed PS2 game, it looks kind of anime-ish, I'll leave it sealed, see what happens with that. Who knows, maybe one day it'll become really rare and maybe expensive, or maybe it won't, so there's that. PS1, Tekken 2. I tried to buy Tekken 2 months ago, maybe even over a year ago. Bought Tekken 1 and Tekken 2. And same story as the Final Fantasy story that I shared with you about on the PSP. They put 2 copies of the original Tekken in the cases, and when they looked, they couldn't find Tekken 2 anywhere. They didn't even have it, so I didn't even get to buy it that day. I played the crap out of this in like the arcade, so really happy to have that. Coming down here for the PS3, Final Fantasy 13-2, Lightning Returns, 13-3 technically, I guess, and Castlevania, Lords of Shadow. All really great games. Haven't really played 13 that much. I tried to get into it, and it really didn't sink me, but I had to get the other ones just for completionist sake. Hopefully, maybe one day I could sit down, play all 3 of them, and maybe it'll click. Who knows, right? Sometimes these things take time. I know for a while it took me a long time to get into like Dragon Quest VIII. So, I mean, it took me over 10 years to try to get into that after I played it the first time. Coming up here Found Bioshock 2 and Bioshock Infinite for like $2 a piece. That was a really good deal. I don't have the first one yet. They didn't have it. I looked for it, but I'm really looking at like diving into those. So I've heard the second one is not that great, but Infinite is fantastic. So I tried playing them, and they look fun, look interesting. Coming down here, The Bouncer for PS2. Who remembers that game as like a launch title, man? I played the crap out of that. I remember beating it in like 45 minutes though. You guys remember that game being that short? You can play it like 2-player or something like that. I remember playing it with my pal Jason, and we just had a blast with that game. I remember I spent the night and we played that game. I guess if you beat it 3 times, the last boss was like an alternate outfit, and we got that in like about an hour and a half. It was crazy. And then Rogue Galaxy, really interesting. I heard a lot of cool stuff about this, and this has just come to the PS4 with their PS2 initiative to try and like get newer games or older games with like trophy support. And I ended up finding this out in the wild for about almost the same price as it's going for on the PS4. And you know what? I like it. It was kind of neat. I was not expecting that kind of gameplay out of that. So really cool to check that one out. Coming down here, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube. I only played this, was it in a store? Like an EB Games or something. I tried it out and I didn't end up buying it. And now I have it because it was pretty cheap. And then Fable, The Lost Chapters for $1, if you can believe that, for $1. I couldn't say no to that one either. Coming down here, Crimson Skies, The High Road to Revenge. Original Xbox exclusive. Now, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this before. Microsoft company store purchase, not to be sold, purchased by blank, right employee number. And down here it says not for resale. I found this at my local disc replay for like $2. And I thought that big Microsoft sticker was just a GameStop sticker. You know, trade it, you know, buy it, play it, trade it. You know, the old stickers that you still find at some of the games that you're looking for, especially on the PS2, Xbox, GameCube era, back before they sort of like went limiting on their stickers for just the pre-owned stuff. They would just put so many stickers on that damn thing. And it's been a real pain in the ass to try and clean them up when you buy them. But I almost skipped over it until I like actually read it, and that really took me back. I was not expecting to find that in like nowhere, Indiana. So pretty cool to see that. If you guys have ever seen this before anywhere else, please let me know, because that is kind of, I thought it was a neat find, especially so far away from a company store. In fact, I don't even know where one is. I think there's one in Seattle. But the Game Boy Advance player. Obviously, there's just a disc. I do have the unit hooked up to my GameCube already, otherwise I have it sitting here. I didn't really feel like unhooking it. I just had the disc. You know, you guys trust me, right? I have it. That was pretty cool. Check that out. Honestly, it was I want to complete my GameCube type thing. It wasn't something I really needed. I have ways to play my Game Boys, my Game Boy, original Game Boy and Game Boy Advance on the TV. I have cartridges for those on the Super Nintendo. So this is almost just like you know what? I have the money, I might as well pick it up. So yeah, there's that. Up here I have Super C and Ghosts and Goblins NES games. I'm really rounding out some of my original NES titles. You know, there's a lot of guys that try to go for a complete set. I'm not that guy. There's only a few games that I'm really thinking of. I need to get, like the Mega Mans. I need to get Castlevanias 1 and 3, and maybe a few more, maybe like the original Contra and something like that. So honestly, I'm getting to the end of where I want to be for the NES stuff. Maybe I'll pick some more stuff as I kind of go along, but to find these two out there was pretty neat. Coming down here, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D. Now, I saw this, it was about a year ago, and I went back to pick it up and it was gone. So to find this now, the price has gone up on it just a little bit. Honestly, I wish I had the circle pad. I tried playing it, it's a little weird. But I'm happy to have it and to try and round off my Metal Gear Solid collection. Down there without a case is Dragon Quest V. Maybe you can zoom in on it. Can you focus? Focus? Oh well, you guys can see what it is, right? Hopefully. Dragon Quest V, don't have a case for it. I have extra cases, but I don't have like the label to print it off. In fact, I found the label, but I don't have the ink. So there's that. That's why I didn't put a case of that one. Down here, some Dreamcast stuff. Silent Scope, Power Stone. Power Stone, I remember playing. I played Silent Scope in the arcade. Power Stone is a fun, niche little fighter. Pretty neat to have. Again, my Dreamcast collection is like very wimpy. I don't really have a whole lot of games. There's not really a whole lot that after I started collecting for it, I'm like, you know what? There's kind of a handful, really, that I really like have a strong desire to have. But I had to get Power Stone, and Silent Scope was only a few bucks. Now this next one for the Dreamcast, I got lucky because they restocked it on the Watermelon, and that is Pure Solar. Now this game came out for the Sega Genesis in 2010, and they put it onto HD in 2015. I think it was the PS4 and the Wii U. I think it's on Steam. It might be on Xbox One as well. But yeah, they also released a physical copy for the Dreamcast, and I had to pick it up, and I missed the Kickstarter for it, man. I was kicking myself, but I never had the money when that was coming across. But I read that they restocked it. I went and paid the price. I wanted it so bad because, man, they really hooked you up. They got like a poster here. The discs look exactly like original Dreamcast discs. Now this isn't a a GD-ROM like what they had for the Dreamcast. This is actually just a CD-ROM, but it works just the same. And they hooked you, and it looks fantastic. I was floored when I actually saw the actual quality, and it apparently has some sort of mini game for the VMU. Seriously, they went all out for that. I'm really blown away with how far they went to make the Dreamcast collectors happy, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. And that is my massive pickups from September to Christmas, and I hope you guys had a really Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. I hope you had a good one. I'm Brando, and I will see you later.